I'm Fran Ora. I'm a director in our people consulting business here in the UK. It's a really great question, and if I'm honest, no sector is left unturned at the moment. And we work across financial sector, infrastructure, government, health, kind of public sector, as well as a lot of our big kind of corporate clients. People data and workforce data can help both HR but also managers make much better decisions. We've recently did some location analysis where an organisation was trying to build new capability and set up a new kind of location. But in doing that analysis, you actually found out that the supply of skills they were looking for just didn't exist in the volumes that they needed them in that location. So actually that drove a different senior business decision, right through to how you might use people analytics about your team and the frequency with which they're logging on after certain hours and the risks of burnout. So I think people data can sit at the heart of some really significant kind of organisational, operational choices, like do we set up a site here or here, and how do we use our office footprint, through to how do I better support my employees and ensure that their well-being's looked after. The landscape from a HR tech perspective and workforce optimization perspective has never been a more exciting space to be in. It's seen huge advancements and is now kind of core to a lot of what organisations do. And if you think 10 years ago, it was about kind of movement to the cloud of kind of some of the more transactional HR processes and tasks. And now it's all about that kind of optimized employee experience and how you use technology to manage your workforce on an ongoing basis. I would say that it's not all about the technology, and actually where we've seen organizations fail is where they think that there's some magic tech or tool that will do the work for them. It's definitely a massive accelerator, but you need to do the work to think about how you situate that technology in an organisation, how you think about the culture and the behaviours to drive it. So I think it has to start with the end user. The user experience has to be great, and we see that across HR platforms now. People expect to have a really seamless interaction. It needs to have the kind of simple Google-like functionality that you're expected to see in everyday life. That has to be mirrored. So it has to be really easy and intuitive so that you actually drive adoption and drive people to want to use them, because marketplace technology or workforce optimization technologies, they're only as good as the kind of interaction that users have with them. Otherwise, it's an empty piece of technology that doesn't deliver. And then linked to that is the ability to ingest data as seamlessly and as easy as possible, drawing on as many different sources as you can. Thinking about not just experience and job titles, but what are the skills you've got, and how can we then start to think about skills as opposed to roles. So yeah, user experience, making it as easy as possible to kind of access information that you've already got about someone, and then thinking about skills instead of roles would be kind of really critical. You can't necessarily approach this in the same way that you would another HR change. In implementing kind of optimization or talent marketplaces, it has to be a kind of trial and learn approach. You can't have the perfect roadmap. You can't have identified all of the enablers and all of the changes up front, but you do need a willingness to kind of get employees engaged, get managers engaged in the testing, build it with them, build momentum, and learn as you go, because there'll be, policy hurdles, but you can kind of get through those. The most important thing is that you can kind of shift people to this different way of working. I think the work that we've done to bring together the sort of total workforce management, so we have increasing use of our offshore capability, who are increasingly kind of part of how we work, our contractors and contingent labour, as well as our KPMG employees. We've now brought all of those pools together, and as I said, it's really about what's the right blend of that resource to deliver to our client needs, and the enablement of using a tool to help make that more seamless, less kind of manager interventions required, I think is really kind of game changing, and the work we're doing to automate as much of that resourcing and the management of that, again, I think is really sort of setting us apart, because it then means that resourcing can sit at a much more strategic level.